وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت.
It was one of the most unique things that I've ever read about in history myself, in the sense that here you had thousands of people who believed with all that they had. They walked away from their parents. They walked away from their children. They walked away from their friends for this belief, and would walk through blazing fire for this belief in the Nation of Islam. The black man is God, the white man is the devil. But then for someone to come up and say, no, this is not Islam. This is what you've been believing in is not true, is not right. And to have that whole organization, thousands, to follow that leadership and to make such a transformation is mind-boggling. There's over 2 million, 3 million close to 3 million African-American Muslims, where when the change came for the Nation of Islam and Minister Wallace D. Muhammad became the leader, there were certain things that he said that registered on me as if I had heard them before. When specifically the concept of God. God is more of a spiritual being than he is a physical being. And he created all human beings the same. But I'll tell you, I had to do some soul searching. And I would just say, in all sincerity, it was only the mercy of God that I can really explain how I was able to change. It was a gradual stage of development into Islam as we matured, as the world changed, as we grew, and then we could grow into Islam. I thank God for the change that I was able to make, and for the thousands of others who came through the Nation of Islam and who embraced Islam under the leadership of Imam Wafa D. Muhammad, who himself became very patriotic in a rational way and moved us away from that kind of mentality that we had. Because right now,
Islam's the way to change your mind. What you do and say, a new world order, a brand new day, a change in mind.
Gelovig moslim, trots op Amerika, was eens een extremist die Amerika haatte en de blanken als de duivel zag. Zijn metamorfose is het
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Mustafa El-Amin woont in Newark, New Jersey. Een overwegend zwarte stad, een half uur rijden van New York.
Darkness no longer, the time has come. Get yourself together, make family number one. Daddy's out there, where you ought to be. You're standing on corners, shooting each other, brothers, please.
These are like the projects I grew up in during the 1967 racial riots in Newark from about 9 or 10 years old. And the frightful thing was on one of these days, we hear a bang on the door while the bullets are flying. Boom, boom, boom. They kicked the door open. And I remember 2 National Guard, actually 3 National Guardmen, they were white Americans, and they kicked the door and they had what I understood to be machine guns, you know, or Uzis. In later years, when I heard the teachings of the Nation of Islam about white people being devils, I'm almost 100% convinced that this flashed into my mind in terms of white men kicking our door down, pointing machine guns at my family, my mother, and all of these things, and then connecting it to that.
You've been living so hard, day by day. It's time to make a change, and Islam's the way. If you want order, Islam's the way. It's a new day. Change your mind, what you do and say. A new world order.
This place here is Masjid Muhammad. This was temple number 25. This is where the majority of us came through during the days of the Nation of Islam. I was 16 years old when I joined and received my X. Whatever your last name was, if my name was Robert King, your last name would be dropped and you would be given an X. You did not know your true name that you had before you was brought to America, that you had in Africa. So King or Jones or Smith was incorrect, so it was crossed out.
Because it was the master's name.
Because it was the slave master's name, but you could keep your first name because that was your given name by your mother. I legally changed my name around 1983 or so. And El-Amin, which means truthful and honest. When I saw that name, I said, that seems like something I would want to be. And Mustafa means the chosen one. And I felt that I was chosen to begin the process of generations of Muslims in our family.
Hi, Mustafa. How you doing?
Okay, how you
Good.
doing?
That's the first thing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, how old are you now?
When I left the church to become a member of the Nation of Islam, my mother was very disappointed because she has such a commitment to Christianity.
We are so much alike. He firmly believes what he believes. I firmly believe what I believe. And we don't rub arms. Now, for an example, when we have our dinners like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatnot, I know he doesn't eat pork. He loves cabbage. I cook a pot full of cabbage without pork. And I cook one with it. I cook the foods that he eat, his family eat, and I cook food that we eat. So I have a pot of food with beef and turkey, and I have a pot with pork.
You know, one thing about the Nation of Islam, they would say, just look around. All people have an image of their God or of their leader that looks like them. Except you, black man. We go to your house, and you have a white image of someone called Jesus, and you saying this is God. And at the same time, you had Dr. Martin Luther King and the other groups which were the nonviolent. So the Nation of Islam would criticize that, say that's what Christianity teaches, that if someone slapped you on one side, give them the other side, you know, and the logic was, no, brother, in a different world, that humility would be fine. But in this world, if somebody hits you on one cheek and you give him the next one, he's going to try to kill you because they're going to interpret that as weak. It's like a hound that smells blood.
In de sloppenwijken van de grote steden is de zwarte vorm van islam geboren. Racisme, armoede, werkloosheid en gebroken gezinnen waren de voedingsbodem.
Mothers, hear the boys out here in the hood. Your kids are statistics, and it really ain't all good. The hunt is on, and brother, you're the prey. Serving time in jail, it just ain't the way.
We did not accept ourselves as Americans. We didn't believe we should pay taxes to the American government. We preached and believed in the fall of America, that there was a day that was coming when America would be destroyed for its crimes against black people. We believed that, and that the black people would survive. We despised the American flag. We saw the red as the blood of the black man.
Theologisch gezien was de Nation of Islam een vreemde secte. Volgens de Nation was Allah verschenen in de persoon van een man. En was Elijah Muhammad, de leider van de Nation, de boodschapper van Allah zelf.
It was considered blasphemy by the majority of Muslims in the world, because along with that theology of man as God and Elijah as the messenger, there was also the concept of man as the devil. So if you had man as God and man as the devil, that man was the white man. So the black man was the God, the white man was the devil. So again, that was a blasphemy, because it was said and taught in the name of Islam.
Toen Elijah Muhammad in 1975 stierf, nam zijn zoon, Wallace D. Muhammad, de leiding over. Dat had diepgaande gevolgen voor de Nation of Islam. Want Wallace D. had in Egypte de ware leer van islam ontdekt. Hij brak met
most unique things that I've ever read about in history myself. It was one of the most unique things that I've ever read about in history myself. In the sense that here you had thousands of people who believed with all that they had. They walked away from their parents. They walked away from their children. They walked away from their friends for this belief, and would walk through blazing fire for this belief in the Nation of Islam. The black man is God, the white man is the devil. But then for someone to come up and say, no, this is not Islam. This is what you've been believing in is not true, is not right. And to have that whole organization, thousands, to follow that leadership and to make such a transformation is mind-boggling. I had to do some soul searching. And I would just say, in all sincerity, it was only the mercy of God that I can really explain how I was able to. I thank God for the change that I was able to make, and for the thousands of others who came through the Nation of Islam and who embraced Islam under the leadership of Imam Wahid Muhammad, who himself became very patriotic in a rational way and moved us away from that kind of mentality that we had. Because right now, we could very well have, in the Nation of Islam, have become instruments of terror. And if not instruments of terror, most certainly the strongest sympathizers of those who attacked the World Trade Center, and somewhere been applauding what had happened to it. But these people who did this in the name of Islam, they are wrong. They should be condemned by us, and I believe that they're burning in the hellfire now. Tanisha, hold up for a minute. Tanisha, Tyree couldn't just walk. When this terrorist attack happened on September 11th, some of the parents at the school came and took their children out right away. And at that point, it really dawned on me that my children are somewhere in school, and what this may mean. But not only because of the terrorist attack, but because they're Muslims. I was concerned about how other students, or even adults for that matter, will react to them because they are Muslim. Okay? It is more qualified to say that America is evil, America is the devil, than the black man in America who was taken away from his home, who was raised in slavery, who was stripped of his language, stripped of his culture, his religion, his identity, etc., and treated like an animal. I think we are in a very unique and fortunate situation in America, because America offers certain freedoms, certain liberties that we don't even find in the Islamic world. There was a promise in America of people having, being seen in the Constitution, being seen as endowed with certain inalienable rights given to them by their Creator. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When I see that as a Muslim, that ties directly in with our religion. And we can't be afraid to look at the Quran, look at our religion, look at the American documents, and see where these things tie in at. And I'll tell you, as an African-American Muslim, I see so many similarities in the freedoms of America, what the Founding Fathers wrote and hoped for. I see the same thing in our religion.
If you want order, Islam's the way. It'll change your mind, what you do and say. It's a new world order, a brand new day. No change of mind for the human race. If you want order, Islam's the way. It'll change your mind, what you do and say. It's a new world order, a brand new day. It's a change of mind for the human race.
As usual, I sent a letter to the Imam, keeping him informed of this documentary that was done by producers from the Netherlands. As you can see, just brief, I won't have to read the whole thing. As you can see, on November 20th, 2001, dear Imam Dawah Muhammad, I pray that this letter finds you in the best of health and spirit and enjoying this blessed month of Ramadan. The purpose of this letter is to inform you of a documentary that is being completed in the Newark area concerning African American Muslims. It is to be shown in Europe, Holland. The broadcasting company is called, as you can read, just letting you know that without reading all this, that I most certainly kept Imam Muhammad informed. And then this letter here was on the 20th. Then when it was sent to me from Europe, I sent a copy to the Imam, and that was January 28, 2002. Please find enclosed with this brief letter a video of a 30-minute documentary of the African American Muslims. As I informed you before, it was done for a television program in Holland, Europe. It was actually a portrait of me as a symbol of the African American Muslims, etc. So, alhamdulillah, I just showed some parts of that. Just part of documenting, preserving, and sharing our history for now and future generations.